בעזרת השם, that we should hear only בשורות טובות. משנכנס אדר, מרבים בשמחה. What it means מרבים בשמחה? Extra joy. But Hazar say in the Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit 29, folio 1. 29, folio 1 or folio 2? No, folio 1. Gemara Masechet Ta'anit 29, folio 1. Hazar say that if a person have any dispute or any judgment with Gentile, should go to court in Chodesh Adar. Why? Because the strength and the mazal, the star luck of the Jewish people in the upper hand. And nachon that the world say whatever they want to say, we have to let them say. We can't stop them from saying. And Hazal tell us in the Gemara, Yateh v'lo yachmeneh. When the time going to come of Mashiach, I don't want to be there because it's going to be very difficult. So what the rabbis say that it's all about emunah. The Zohar say that the last test that we're going to have is the emunah in the bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should get the strength, we should get the ability to divide between good and bad. And we only going to see miracle. That what you mentioned, that all the world against us. Remember Adan Shor about the war of Armageddon. Armageddon in Hebrew, it's called Gog uMagog. Chazal explained, take the gematria of Gog uMagog, you'll get 70. 70 nations will be against the Jewish people before the Mashiach come. But they cannot harm anyone in Eretz Israel. Because soon they're going to have a war between them, between Esav, okay, and Ishmael. So we have nothing to worry. Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should not get to that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in nowadays, as long that we get united. Rabotai, first of all, thank you very much to everyone for joining us. I'm sure that there's more guys going to join us shortly. Dr. Les, as usual, shkoach for all the update. Tonight we're going to speak about Shatnez. Shatnez, we're going to speak, that's going to be the subject of tonight. I would like to dedicate the shi'ur in the soul of Esther Kadem Bat Kitzia, Mordechai ben Rahma, Tamar Bat Zehava, Eitan Ben Keren ve'Avishai Na'e, Malka Regina Bat Joya, ve'Yaakov Salomon Ben Farha, Nishmatam Tiye Tzrura, Betzur Haim. Also, I would like to dedicate the shi'ur in health of, first of all the soldiers that got injured, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send them refuah shlema, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf, כל חולי עמו ישראל, and amongst them Lior בת מרים, מנשה נג'י בן פרחה, הרב משה בן בהיה בתיה, הרב משה בן דבורה, הרב שלמה יהודה בן דליה, הרב אברהם בן מרינה, דבורה בת אסתר, שינה קהילה בת חנה, מרדכי דוד, בן לאה, יהודה הלל בן שולמית לאה, חיים נחום בן פסח רזה הכהן, ברוך בן שרה חיינה, אהובה קדן בת טלי אסתר, לאה בת רחל, פסח יצחק בן אלה, נטלי מלכה בת שרה רבקה טל, איילה עדן בת רבקה, וכל שאר חולי עמו ישראל בכל מקום שהם, בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. רבותיי, tonight we're going to speak about the concept of Shatnez. What is Shatnez? I'm sure that all of you heard about it, but tonight we're going to try to explain what is Shatnez, okay, and why we have a negative command from the Torah that we're not allowed to wear or to cover ourselves with Shatnez. But from the Rabbanan, the rabbinical Rabbi tell us that we're not allowed also to sit on something that made from Shatnez. So the Torah tell us, first of all, where is the source that we're not allowed to wear Shatnez? And what is Shatnez? Shatnez is linen and wool mixed together. Linen, okay, if you look at the word linen, we all know that linen comes from the ground, while wool comes from an animal. That means that here, I see a message here. Hilton, give me the name. Sorry, I didn't have a chance. Just unmute yourself, Hilton. Hilton? Avraham Haim Ben Eliezer Yaakov. Ah, yeah. That's our Rabbi Tenza. Yes, yes, yes. Shakwa. So we was at, what is Shatnez? Shatnez is a mix of linen and wool. Well, linen come from the vegetation world, while linen come from the vegetation world, and wool come from the animal. That's the difference. They're two different things, and we're not allowed to mix them together. That's what the Torah tells us. Where's the source for it? The source for it comes from Sefer Vayikra. Jeffrey, Sefer Vayikra, Parashat Kedoshim, chapter 19, verse 19. Chapter 19, verse 19, Parashat Kedoshim, on Sefer Vayikra. I'm going to read it in Hebrew, and then our friend Jeffrey going to read it to us in English. And it says like this, Okotai Tishmor. The Torah tells us that we should keep the law. Look what it says. Et Chokotai Tishmor, Behematcha lo tarbia, Kil'ain שדך לא תזרע כלאיים, ובגד כלאיים שעטנז לא יעלה עליך. בכבוד, Jeffrey. Don't forget to unmute, Jeffrey.
Right. You shall observe my decrees. You shall not mate your animal into another species. You shall not plant your field with mixed seed, and a garment that is a mixture of combined fibers shall not come upon you.
Okay, that's the first source that the Torah tells us, that we're not allowed to wear shatnez. She tells us specifically. The second time that it's mentioned, it's in Sefer Dvarim, in Parashat Kitetse, in chapter 22, verse 11. Parashat Kitetse, Jeffrey Perek, yeah. That means chapter 22, verse 11. The Torah tells us like there specifically, Lo tilbash sha'atnez, tzemer upishtim yahdav.
Right. Verse 11, sorry, go over to it. Right. You shall make for yourself twisted threads. Oh, sorry. You shall not plow with an ox and a donkey together. You shall not wear combined fibers, wool and linen together.
That's it. That's it. You do not wear combined linen and wool together. Okay? Why is it so important that we should not wear wool and linen together? That the Torah tells us that it's a negative command from the Torah. Why is the Torah so strict about it? Why there is so much restriction not to wear these two kind, linen and wool, that they've been mixed together? Why is it so important? So Hazal tell us in a Gemara in Masechet Brachot something very interesting. Listen what Hazal tell us in a Gemara Masechet Brachot in page 19, folio 1. Hazal tell us that if a person was walking on a market, okay, and suddenly he realized that him himself be wearing clothes that made from linen and wool together, Hazal tell us that he's obligated to take his clothes off him, although that is in the middle of the market, in public. That's Gemara Masechet Brachot 19, folio 2. Hazal tell us in a Gemara in Masechet Yoma, in page 69, folio 1, Hazal say like this, and here we learn the prohibition of the rabbinical, that if a person in the olden days, they used to sit on cushion, they never used to sit on proper chair, but they say that if a person is sitting on 10 cushion, kosher cushion, but underneath those 10 cushion, there is a rag, or there is something that is shatnez, that means there is a mix of linen and wool, okay, is not allowed to sit on top of it. Chazal tell us something even more. Chazal tell us that the person not allowed to cover himself, to get warm with, let's say, a towel, a blanket that made from Shatnez, not to wear, also to cover himself to get warm. We see from here there is a lot of restriction. That was from Chazal. Now we're going to start going to the Rishonim and the Aharonim. Listen what they say. The Rabbi Heskel Landa, I'm sure that many of you heard about him. Rabbi Heskel Landa, he born in Poland around 300 and, if I'm not mistaken, 11 years ago. He wrote a famous book, Hatzalah. Hatzalah, it's an acronym of Tziyun Lenefesh Haya. Tzalah, Tziyun Lenefesh Haya. Okay, and there he wrote that if a person wear, listen to that, Rabotai, if a person wear Shatnez, he sprays, even if he wear it for one day, for the next 40 days, in heaven they close all the gate. That means that his tefillah can never penetrate to heaven. That means Shatnez, it's such a negative command, it's such a restriction that we're not allowed to wear until that in heaven they're closing the gate for all of his prayers. Unheard of. That means Shatnez is such a dangerous thing. The Rambam, the famous Rambam in Ilchot Kilain in chapter 10, verse 29, by the way, what the Rambam paskin, also the Maran Shulchan Aruch in Ilchot Yoreh De'ah, in Siman Shin Gimel, that means 303, and they say something very interesting. The Rambam say it, and then the Shulchan Aruch that follow the psakim of the Rambam. And the Rambam say like this: Aro'eh et havero, a person that see his fellow friend walking on the market, and he know that his fellow friend wearing clothes that made from Shatnez, that is a mix of linen and wool in his clothes. Listen to that. Hazal say, Tzarich likroa et bigdo me'alav. He must tear the clothes of that person over him. Although that is in the middle of the market, that is plenty people. We see that the prohibition of Shatnez, even the Rishonim, okay, that was the Rambam, that was from the Rishonim, tell you how dangerous is it to wear Shatnez. And to that join the Maran Bet Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo. Rabbi Yosef Karo, born 535 years ago in a city of Toledo. And he wrote it in the Shulchan Aruch, and he was from the Achronim. So we see that we brought the Torah Shebechtav, Torah Shebe'al Peh, we brought Gemarot, and now we bring in the final psak. What does it mean, the final psak? The final psak halacha, that the Rishonim, how we build the halacha, and that's how the Shulchan Aruch paskin. So we see from here how dangerous is it to wear Shatnez. We'll explain just now why there is such a prohibition. Hashalah. Hashalah is Rabbi Yeshua Levy Horowitz. He born in the city of Prague in the Czech Republic. He born around 467 years ago. And he says something very interesting. And now he tried to explain to us why there is so much restriction. And he said like this. He said that when a person wears Shatnez, what does it mean wearing Shatnez? When a person wears clothes that made from linen and wool, what's happening, he actually removed the character trait of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's mercy and compassion, from him. That means that there is no more guardians of the Almighty on that person. What do we learn from here? that there is here something very interesting. The Torah didn't tell us just not to mix linen and wool. There is secret behind it. Okay. I would like to explain now the prohibition, and then we'll move on. So far, we explained the restriction, okay, of Shatnez. What is the prohibition? So we explained earlier in the show that we're not allowed to mix linen and wool together, okay? But we have to understand that prohibition. We know that linen, it's something that grows on the ground, we explained. Wool, it's come from the female, okay, sheep, tzemer rechilim. But you have to understand that it's only with a female sheep. That means if you take a wool, for example, of camel, okay, if you make it from a camel wool, you can mix it. Kashmir, you're not allowed to make it from a wool that's called Kashmir. Kashmir is a wool of a goat. You're not allowed to, that you're allowed to mix them. You're not allowed to mix it from a wool of Angora. That you also allowed. The only prohibition that we have is not to mix a wool of tzemer rechilim. Rechilim is the sheep, the wool that comes from a sheep. That's why we're not allowed to mix them. And later on, we're going to explain what's the difference between them. We know that there is what we call it linen that we grow on the ground, we explain. Those linen, some people use it as a yuta, you know, a yuta thing that they cover a certain area that they don't want to see because the yuta is very thick. Although Hazal say that the yuta material, it's not linen. You have to understand not only that, also canvas. A canvas is not linen. Many people made the same mistake. So you have to know exactly what you're doing when you're testing the material, if it's mixed with linen and wool. Those that do that, there's a special, obviously, laboratory that doing it. It's very quick to find out. They have a microscope on that they're checking if it's full of linen that mix with the wool. Is that wool, is it from the sheep? Because there is a different way to check it. But it's not for now. But now I would like also to explain why are we not allowed to wear it. The Torah tells us a prohibition, okay, a negative command that we're not allowed to wear shatnez, wool and linen together, when they're mixed together. What's the reason behind it? We have to understand why. Okay, why is it so severe that the Torah really put a lot of things to it? So we have to understand on a pshat of the dvarim, Hazal tell us, et chukotai tishmoru. My law, you're obligated to keep. You have a mitzvah from Hazal that you have to keep my law and not to ask. Okay? But what the Torah tells us that we're not allowed to wear it. Rabbanan, the rabbinical prohibition, is that we're not allowed to sit on something that have shatnez. So we see from here that, a matter of fact, there is now suddenly two prohibitions. The prohibition from the Torah is not to wear it. The prohibition of the Rabbi that we're not allowed to sit on it. We're not allowed to cover ourselves, like we explained, to get warm, not to wear it. That's a negative command it's a rabbinical negative command. But the Zohar HaKadosh starts telling us by hinting to us why not. And later on, I will explain what the Zohar said. The Zohar HaKadosh explained that the main reason that the Torah forbidden us from wearing linen and wool together, he explained, because that we're mixing. Listen to that, Rabotai. We're mixing the character trait of mercy with a character trait of judgment. While the wool is a character trait of mercy, the linen is a character trait of judgment. By that we mix them together, okay, we doing something against nature, that we take in mercy and judgment and we mix them together. That means that we're putting two negative energy together in our language. Said the Zohar HaKadosh, that's the main reason that you're not allowed to wear it, believe it or not. Hazal also explains something very interesting. Hazal say that you have to understand that what's hiding behind it. So here come the Rambam. What it means not to mix these two energies? Come the Rambam. The Rambam, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, that we mentioned earlier, I forget to mention where is he born and how many years ago. The Rambam born in the city of Cordova, 888 years ago in Spain. And he wrote, beside his book, Hayad HaZakah, he wrote also another book, a very philosophic book. It's called, the book called, as you all know, it's in English, if I'm not mistaken, it's called The Guide for the Perplexed. It's called Moreh Nevuchim. In volume 3, in chapter 37, he explained why we're not allowed to wear Shatnez. And said the Rambam like this: דרכם של עובדי עבודה זרה, שהיו לובשים בגדים שהיה מעורב בהם צמר ופשתן. That's what he said. The Rambam explained to us, you know why you're not allowed to wear Shatnez? Because the people that used to worship idols, they used to mix linen and wool together, and that's what they used to wear. And the Torah tells us that we're not allowed to wear those clothes because that was how those people that worship, those pagans that used to worship idols, that's what they used to wear. So the Torah tells us the main reason that we're not allowed to wear Shatnez, it's because those pagans that used to wear it, of the Avodah Zarah. Come the Hiskuni. Hiskuni is Rabbi Hiskiyahu ben Menachem. He born in France. He born around 774 years ago, plus minus. And in his commentary on a Torah, on Sefer Vayikra, what we read in chapter 19, verse 19, that Jeffrey read for us so nicely, he explained what is the reason that we're not allowed to wear Shatnez, linen and wool mixed together. He said that like this. He said, when you're wearing Shatnez, it's like you're using Sharvito Shel Melech, the specter of the king. A king in the olden days used to have a specter. And with that, used to appoint, it's like a stick that they used to have, a special stick. He said, when a person wearing linen and wool is like using the specter of a king. What is it? He explained it. He said that the Bigdei Keuna, the clothes of the Kohanim that used to serve in Bet HaMikdash, okay, their clothes used to be made with pishtan, okay, vatzemen. That means from linen and wool. Now that you coming and wearing linen and wool together, that means that you saying like you kind of those Kohanim that used to serve in Bet HaMikdash. So you're using the specter of the Almighty. That's the reason, say the Hiskuni, you can't wear it. The Baalei HaTosfot, it's a 40 Rabbonim, I explained that before, that they was from Europe, and they was mainly from France. And they explain like this. they explain, you know why there is such a prohibition not to wear Shatnez? He said the curtain that was at Bet HaMikdash, that with that curtain, we know that they used to cover when they used to move from one place to another to cover the holy ark. That curtain, that when they neaten it, okay, it used to be mixed with wool and linen. And now, when you wear it, again, you're using basically something that belongs to the Almighty. That means that you're using the specter of the king. The king is the Almighty. Say Baalei HaTosfot, the main reason that we're not allowed to wear Shatnez because we're using the specter of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means that we're using something that the Kohanim used to wear, and the curtain in Bet HaMikdash that used to be made from that. And that's the main reason that we're not allowed to wear it. Okay, so until now we understand why not. Chazal given us all different idea. We see that the Achronim given us a different idea, the Rishonim given us a different idea. But Be'emet, why is it so important that we're not allowed to wear it? Chazal tell us, go back to the beginning of the creation. What happened at the beginning of the creation? Chazal tell us in Sefer Bereshit, Parashat Bereshit, the Torah tell us about the first murderer in the world. Who was the first murderer in the world? It was Cain. Cain killed Hevel. Okay? Cain killed Hevel. What is the connection? We have to look what each one of them done. Cain was the first one to bring an offering to the Almighty. What was his offering? He brought his offering from the ground that he used to work. It means fruit and vegetables, wheat, whatever it was. When Cain brought that, Hevel saw that. Hevel decided to bring from his flock. The difference between them was, the Torah tells us, that Hevel brought from his best, the best of the animal that he had. While Cain brought not the best vegetable, not the best vegetation, let's call it, not from his top. Chazal said that here we see that actually that's where it started. Cain was the first murderer. Cain brought from the ground. What's coming from the ground? The linen. Hevel brought from his flock, from his livelihood. That means all the animal. Chazal say, where come the wool? We know that it's come from a sheep. That's forbidden. That's negative command to use the wool that come from a sheep. While Hevel brought from the vegetation world. That means that because that offering that brought and that caused the first murder in the world, that Cain become the first murderer in the world, that's the reason that we're not allowed to mix them. Because there is Hevel, that's the positive energy. That's kindness and mercy and compassion. While from the other side come a linen that represent judgment. Exactly the opposite. Say the Mefarshim, now you can understand what the Zohar Kadosh tells us, not to mix judgment with kindness. The kindness, okay, that it's chesed, that's the sheep. Wow, the linen, that's the dinim, the judgment. Don't mix them together. Why not to mix them together, said the Zohar? He didn't explain. He did. Later on, you explain. That's where I got it. But lechatchila, he doesn't explain. He said, just don't mix the positive energy and the negative energy, let's call it. okay, in our language. Why is it? Because that's going to the beginning of the creation. That Hevel been murdered by Cain. That's the difference. Now we can understand the Zohar HaKadosh, why we're not allowed to mix linen and wool together. Because it's representing, okay, the judgment that was for Cain, that he was the first murderer, and the offering of Hevel, that was compassion and mercy. We can't mix it together. That's why we're not allowed to wear it. I saw another beautiful explanation, another interpretation, that Hazal say, if you take the word wool, wool in Hebrew called tzemer, tzemer or pishtan, okay? Tzemer is wool. Let's take the words on that, let's take the letters on that word. Tzemer is made from tzadik, mem, and resh. Wool, tzadik, mem, resh. 3 letters. Say the mefarshim like this. A matter of fact, on a word, tzemer, that wool, it's already hiding a secret. There is there a name of 3 angels. Those 3 angels that in charge about what we call it positive energy in our language, but Hazal call it midat rahamim, the character trait of judgment. What's the name of those 3 angels? 2 of them, it's well known to us, but the 3rd one is not so familiar. So let's start with that. We say, first of all, Tzaddik, Mem, Resh, Tzemer. Tzaddik stands for the angel of Tzuriel. Tzuriel, remember that. Mem of Tzemer stands for Michael, the angel Michael. The Resh stands for Raphael. Okay? So we see from here, we know that the angel Raphael is for refuah. Michael Sar Israel, that he always protect us, he always speak good about us. And Tzuriel is the one that overall with them, joined with them for the compassion and mercy. Say the mefarshim like this. By that you take in tzemer, that it's wool, and you take in linen from the other way, you're mixing kindness, okay, compassion, mercy, with din, judgment. What the Zohar tried to tell us that we're mixing, that you cannot take a linen, because a linen had angel that in charge about him. The tzemer, that it's a wool, there is angel that in charge about him also. By that you take in and you mix them together, what are you doing? We're mixing the energy of negativity and positivity. That means that you take in good angel, that they're always compassion, mercy, and you put it with the judgment. You try to mix them together, it will never work. What does it mean to us to understand that we're trying to take compassion and mercy, those angels that in charge about them, and suddenly you put with them angel that criticize, that's midat adin. Midat adin is judgment. Say Hazal, that you can't do. And now we can understand what the Zohar HaKadosh told us at the beginning, that we cannot mix wool and linen, because the Torah tells us that we're mixing midat adin in midat chesed. That means the character trait of compassion, mercy, with judgment. That's the main reason that we're not allowed to mix wool and linen. Because these two kind of a character trait, where they was, it was with Cain and it was with Hevel. Well, Cain was judgment, we know. And Hevel used to be midat hesed, kindness. But Cain was judgment, dinim. Okay? Now, for 1 minute, I want to stop here for us to understand. We explained in Parashat Yitro that we read 2 weeks ago. I don't know, those of you that was in Shul, I explained Moshe Rabbeinu was a Gilgul. Gilgul is a reincarnation of Hevel. Where do we know about it? On a name. The name of Moshe is Mem, Shin, Hey. And we have to understand what's standing for it. Mem stands for Moshe Rabbeinu. Shin, Poshet. That was the third son of Adam Arishon. Hey is Hevel, to tell us that the reincarnation of Moshe Rabbeinu was 3 times. He came number 1 in Hevel, now backwards from the back. Okay, from the beginning to the front. That means the first incarnation Moshe Rabbeinu was Hevel. After that he came as Shet. And in the end, he came as Moshe Rabbeinu. And that's Moshe Rabbeinu. That means in the name of Moshe Rabbeinu, every letter represents to us his reincarnation. While Cain, that was judgment, we know that Cain, first of all, came as a Cain. Then he came as the Egyptian that hit the Jewish person, and Moshe Rabbeinu killed him. Then he came as Yitro. You remember we explained why Yitro was worried that maybe Moshe Rabbeinu not going to go out to the wilderness and welcome him when he came to the wilderness. That's me come to tell you here something very important, Rabotai. Let's summarize all what we spoke today. The Torah, first of all, tells us we're not allowed to mix them, to wear clothes that mix with linen and wool. Rabbinically, Chazal come and tell us you're not allowed also to sit on it. You're not also allowed to get warm with that, to cover yourself, not to wear it. Sometimes people put it over the legs, you know, a blanket, etc. You're not allowed to do that. The main reason for it, we explained that there is a lot of ideas. Why is it? It's a big dekuna. It was the clothes of the Kohen Gadol. It was the curtain and Bet HaMikdash. But the Zohar Kadosh explained 2 words. You're not allowed to mix judgment, okay, with mercy. Midat HaChesed, that's the character trait of mercy, compassion. While the linen, it's Midat Hadin, the character trait of judgment. Where is it all coming from? So we see from here that we're learning that it's coming from the beginning of the creation. By that the person wear wool and linen together, that's causing him a problem. That the gate in heaven get closed. Why? Because he used 2 different energies. And those 2 different energies refer to different kind of angels that you try to mix together, and they don't work together. You cannot mix it. By the way, just for not belong to the show, it just came to me now. We're not allowed, many people put especially doing it, their finger like this to bring them together. Seder Mekubalim, that the right hand is compassion and mercy, while the left hand is judgment. By that you penetrate the fingers one between each other, what are you causing? You're causing a mix of compassion and negativity, that means judgment. You're not allowed to mix the finger together. That's the mystical Rabbi explained, that you're putting Hesed, that's the right hand, and Din is the left. You're not allowed to mix them together. Said the Mekubalim. Okay, those of you that get used to do it, if you don't want to have an judgment, don't do that. Try to avoid to mix the thing together. My spiritual Rabbi once, when I go on to visit him, my spiritual Rabbi is my father's brother-in-law. And one day we're going to visit him. Whenever I go to Israel, I'll go and visit him. I'm going to try to go and see him. And one of the people that was there put the finger together, and I see that he looks at him, and I looked at him, and I see that he looking at him. And the person didn't understand. He said to him, don't mix the left hand with the right hand. That means don't put them together. And ask him why. And he explained to me that here you're mixing the hesed, that mercy and compassion, with judgment. It doesn't work together. It's like fire for us to understand, just for us to understand that we're taking fire and water together. The same like fire and water, cannot work together. That's exactly. And we explain how's it work. Because Hazal explained that the name of the angel that's in charge about the mercy, that's the Artsuriel, Michael, and Raphael, that they're all about mercy and compassion. And you can't take these three angels and put them together with the angel that's in charge about criticizing, about judgment. What it means, Midat Adin. For us, once and for all, I want to explain that. Midat Adin is the angels that criticize on a person that whatever he done wrong, whatever avirot that he done. So those angels that been created by the avirot that we make, which means a person made lo aleno avera, he create an angel, a negative angel. When a person do a mitzvah, he create a positive angel. Those, when you mix the energy together, it's causing a short. So when you're putting your finger together, you're trying to cause a short in a circuit. Say the Mekubalim, don't mix them. Don't try to mix them together, it's no good. Rather try always that the right hand, that's compassion and mercy, that's hesed, that's referring to the mitzvot. While the criticizer always try to bring him down. So don't mix them together. Don't let them absorb from that energy, the positive energy. But I hope that I explained the concept of Hesed and Rahamim and Dinim. That means Hesed and Rahamim is the right. Dinim, that it's a judgment, that there is criticizer. Who's criticizing? It's those that the angel that be created by our Averot. We're not allowed to mix them. And that's the same, Sehazal, what's happening with Shatnez. There is positive and there is negative. The same like you can't put positive and negative together, it's going to cause explosion. If you take the positive from the electricity and the negative, it's going to cause explosion. Say Hazal something very interesting. Said the Zohar HaKadosh that you wear linen, that judgment. While wool is compassion and mercy. You can't put them together. Come the rabbinical and tell us don't even sit on it. Why not to sit on it? What difference make? I'm not wearing it. I'm sitting on a normal cushion. I'll sit on 10 cushion, kosher cushion, but the last one at the bottom will be Shatnez. No, say rabbinical, no. Why? They say that in the end you're going to absorb and you're going to connect positive and negative together. And that's where the prohibition comes. So now, Rabotai, now we understand the concept of Shatnez. The Torah doesn't tell us why not to wear. The Torah tells us, "Chokotai tishmoru." That's my law. You're obligated to obey. You have to keep all my law that I've given you. Nachon, we have to keep it. We have to listen to HaKadosh Baruch. But Rabotai, behind it came Hazal, and we learn from here that for every prohibition that there is in the Torah, there is a reason. There is a reason. Now you're going to say to me, and I'm sure that that's the question that you're going to ask soon, how come that the Kohanim that serve in Bet HaMikdash can mix wool and linen together? That's a question that I'm waiting from you to ask. How come that the vessel, like the curtain in Bet HaMikdash, made from wool and linen? How can it be? Because again, I'm mixing judgment and compassion together, or mercy with judgment. How does it work together? That's, I'm sure that you're going to ask me, and Be'ezrat Hashem, I'm going to try to answer that question just now. Okay, so we see from here, and we learn from here, that we have to understand that Shatnez, we're not allowed to mix. But from here, the Torah tells us also something, that we're not allowed to mix other stuff. And with that, I'm going to conclude now. The Torah tells us, at the first verse that we read, Jeffrey, if you don't mind, can you read again Sefer Vayikra, okay, chapter 19, verse 19, Parashat Kedoshim. I want you to read it slowly again so I can explain the idea behind it. Would you mind, Jeffrey?
I'm just going to find it.
No, take your time, take your time.
Okay.
Chapter 19, verse 19, Parashat Kedoshim. Chapter 19, Sefer Vayikra. I want you to read it because you read so beautifully. And then we'll see that when the Torah speaks about Shatnez is one thing, but with that come a different prohibition that the Torah tells us what can happen, and sometimes we don't even realize. Okay? Yep. So we'll just wait for Jeffrey, chapter 19, verse 19. Bechavod, Jeffrey.
You shall observe my decrees. You shall not mate your animal into another species. You shall not plant your field with mixed seed, and a garment that is a mixture of combined fibers shall not come upon you.
Beautiful. So we see from here that the Torah tells us, number first thing, chokotai tishmoru. You should observe my law. But the Torah tells us not to mix between different animals. Not only that, to mix between different vegetation. That means you're not allowed to plant a fruit tree and to do a mixture between them. Why is that? About time with that, I would like to conclude. If you remember the generation of the flood, okay, the generation of the flood, what did they do? In their time was complete havoc in the world, chaos, because they mix everything. Human being gone with animal gone with a different species. That means that the breeding was completely, everything got corrupt in the world. Not only the human being, not only the animal, also the vegetation world. Except one thing that never mixed was the fish in the sea. And that's the reason that the fish never been harmed and nothing happened to them. So what is it try to teach us? Try to teach us that when you're mixing and you mix breeding different species together, whatever is it, it's against the nature. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want us to get mixed. From here we learn how important is it that we should stick and learn our Torah and not mix things that we're not allowed. That means not to take the positive energy to mix it with negative energy, because it doesn't work together. And if HaKadosh Baruch Hu told us, you know what he's telling us. come Hazal and explain to us the main reason behind it. Rabotai, I hope that you enjoy the show. I hope that are clear the idea of Shatnez. It's a very difficult concept to explain. I try my best to put it in a way that you can understand that. I try to explain the Zohar with all different mefarshim, that it will work out that you can understand all of it together. Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should see mercy, we should see compassion, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send Mashiach Tzidkenu, and will say the end to that war, to end to all the difficulties that there is in the world, and release the hostages, and will cure all the Jewish people all over the world that need refuah shlema speedily nowadays. Amen. Ken Yeh Ratzon. Thank you for joining us, Rabotai. Have a good night. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Good night, everyone.